version release is loaded with new features, improvements, and refinements. These changes have come from the annual survey, technology advances, and requests submitted throughout the year. Our goal in updating Cubic is to keep the product technically state-of-the-art, more efficient, and more pleasing to use. Here are the highlights of the major changes and new features found in Cubic version 17. There have been numerous enhancements made to customer maintenance. They are as follows. Inside of the customer maintenance screen, there is now a column for the customer's property type on all the sort sequence grids in the command window in customer maintenance and the customer search, except for meter number, serial number, and transponder number sort sequence grids, since those grids are service-based instead of customer-based. Inside of Customers, under the Service Information tab, there is currently an option to suppress non-active services with no balance. We have now added the ability that the user can now set a preference in the customer maintenance screen to default the suppress non-active services with no balance option to be checked. Inside of customer maintenance, when setting up a customer with automatic payments for ACH, an ACH maximum field has been added to the automatic payment tab. The ACH maximum is the maximum withdrawal amount that can be pulled from the customer's bank account for an ACH payment. If the customer owes more than an ACH maximum that is set up on their account, the ACH process will process the payment for the amount of the ACH maximum and leave the remaining balance on the customer's account. The ACH maximum will default to all nines for a customer and cannot have a zero or negative value. The ACH maximum is also listed under the customer reports, in the customer list report, and the customer ACH listing. As an example, viewing the ACH listing report, you'll notice the ACH maximum amount will list on the right hand side of the report. Inside of the customer maintenance screen, when choosing the options to synchronize the billing information or the owner information, while doing that, we have added a new column at the end of the grid called the account balance. The account balance will now be displayed for that customer that you are synchronizing during the billing and owner information screen. In the customer maintenance screen, using the copy feature, we have made some changes to this screen. The unmetered last bill due date, unmetered serial number, last due date, and usage history have all been moved to show underneath the service information to copy. For users who do not have the meter maintenance module, there are new options to copy, move, and leave meter information and transponder information. The meter information consists of the meter number, serial number, meter install date, meter last maintenance date, and handheld ID. The transponder information consists of the handheld transponder, transponder install date, and transponder last maintenance date. There is now the ability to select the handheld file to upload each time an import is processed. To enable this feature, the user would go to General, System Controls, Edit, click on the Controls tab, and select Prompt User for file to upload. Once this feature is turned on, under the Billing, Handheld Billing Upload screen, the field for the upload screen will default to the Cubic Data Handheld.imp file unless the user has an alternate name or alternate path entered in the system controls. When a different location is entered, the program will copy the entered file to the Cubic Data Handheld.imp file and then perform the upload. There have been multiple changes to the billing edit list. They are as follows. The first change that we have done to the billing edit list, a rate code range option has been added to the billing edit list. This has options for metered, unmetered, installment, and deposit rate types along with a rate code range. These new fields are only enabled when the unbilled checkbox is unchecked and the new service total charge range is selected. There is also the ability to enter in a usage range. To enable the usage range fields, under the rate code range types, only metered can be checked in the rate code range option. This will enable the usage range field. When this field is enabled, the program will compare the total usage of the metered service against the usage range entered. If it is not within the range, it will not be included on the report. With the addition of this new range, the previous option, known as Only Zero Usage Services, which was a checkbox, has been removed. If the user wants to only use services with a zero usage, they would just need to enter a 0 in both the from and to range. Also inside of the billing list, there is now the ability to enter in a charges range on the billing edit list. There are two options for this new feature: total new charge range and service total charge range. When the total new charge range is selected, the program will compare the entered charge range against the total new charges on the bill. This is the total of all services that are billed. When the service total charge range is selected, the total charges of the service that is billed will be compared against the entered charge range. These new fields are only enabled when the unbilled checkbox is unchecked. When the total new charge range is selected, the rate code range, usage range, and high-low range fields will all be disabled. And now for the last change to the billing edit list, is we have added the option to return to the option screen after the report finishes processing. So once OK or Excel has been clicked, and you are finished with the report by printing or closing out, you are then brought back to the billing edit list option screen with all the remaining options that were selected for the most previous preview of that report. Under the Customers section, when printing the high usage notices, after filling out this screen and selecting OK, and when the notices print for the customers who have recognized as high usage, in the bottom here where the previous 12 usages print, the average now prints at the bottom of this grid. We have also made a change to the bill print program, which if a customer is set up to use automatic payments and the amount due on the bill is more than the customer's ACH maximum, a comment line on the bill will be populated with ACH maximum and the dollar amount. I have a sample pulled up here where the ACH maximum and the dollar amount for this particular customer is listed. So as you will notice on this bill, the total new charges is the $434.08, which their ACH maximum is $400. This is to notify that the customer that they will still remain to have to pay the $34.08 after the ACH payment has been submitted. We have also made a change to the e-bill notifications if a customer is set up to use the automatic payments and the amount due on the bill is more than the customer's ACH maximum. Inside of the system controls, Under the e-bill information button listed underneath the Features tab, when the checkbox to include ACH comment in message for automatic payment customers, an additional comment will be added to the message showing ACH maximum and the dollar amount. Remember that the ACH maximum amount is defined under the Customer and Customer Maintenance under the ACH Information tab. Lastly, with the new option for the ACH maximum, when executing and creating the ACH file, if a customer that is having an ACH processed owes more than the ACH maximum that is set up on their account, the ACH process will process a payment for the amount of the ACH maximum and leaving the remaining balance on the customer's account. If the user chooses to use the preview option, any customers that will have their ACH maximum applied will show a warning indicator next to the ACH amount in the preview grid to indicate that the ACH maximum will be applied as the ACH payment amount, and the amount shown in the preview grid is the ACH maximum amount. Once the ACH file has been processed and a customer is indicated that their ACH maximum was applied, a log is then printed out. The ACH report will then list ACH maximum applied next to the amount of the customer for that ACH payment. If the customer is checked with the option to receive an ACH email notification for their ACH payment, we have added a new option inside of the System Controls under the ACH email information, a checkbox to include maximum comment in message when customer's ACH maximum was applied. When this checkbox is enabled, the maximum comment field will be enabled for the user to identify what they want the ACH maximum comment to be inside of this field. There have been many new enhancements to the miscellaneous billing processing screen. Those enhancements include retain comments, retain reference field, and show bills entered during the session. So what these new fields can be used for is if you were, as an example, processing multiple tap fees to multiple different accounts. If you are using a reference field to show inside of the bill pay history for each individual account, and also keying in any comments that you want to retain for each customer you are processing that tap fee for, and we then select these new options to retain the comments and to retain the reference fields that we keyed in. Once we select OK, the reference field and the comments field will retain in those fields for the next processing. Also, you will notice the show bills entered during this session loaded the last customer that I processed a miscellaneous billing for. When you are selecting to run the monthly billing report, and I'm going to send this report to Excel, customer and transaction counts have been added to this report for each period on the report. If scrolling down, you will notice that grand totals for the number of transactions and for the number of distinct customers have been added at the bottom of the report. Please note, an individual customer is only included once in the customer grand total, even if the customer was counted in multiple periods on the report. Many enhancements have been made to the receipt posting programs. That includes the receipt postings, batch receipts, in simple batch payments. As an example, when going into the simple batch payments and adding a new payment, you will now notice that receipt and cash drawer options have been removed from the receipt screen. The reason for this is that now the pay type drives if a receipt or a cash drawer is to be opened, depending on what pay type you use when posting that payment. To set up your pay types, under the General Options, selecting Pay Types, you will now notice that there are new options for Auto Print Receipt and Auto Open Cash Drawer per pay type. So as an example, when setting up a new pay type or editing an existing pay type, you can select the checkbox to automatically print a receipt on Payment Deposit Update and or automatically open cash drawer on Payment Deposit Update. Once you have finished setting up all of your pay types, when posting a payment with a pay type that auto prints a receipt, in my example, the pay type check is set up to auto print a receipt. When selecting OK and the receipt is then printed to your receipt printer, it will automatically now print that receipt. If the cash drawer was also selected, your cash drawer will then automatically open once the OK button is selected as well. You will also notice that a new option has been added to these screens that is labeled Reprint Last Receipt. During the posting of receipts, if the last receipt did not print correctly, for an example, it ran out of paper or a paper jam, this new Reprint Last Receipt button, once pressed, a physical receipt will print for the last payment posted. That last payment posted can be seen under the payments posted during this session in the drop-down menu. There is also a new button called Receipt History. When selecting the Receipt History button, this will show all of the receipts that were added inside of the system. The receipt history is where a user can reprint all previous receipts. As you can see in the receipt history, you will notice that pay type ranges, payment date ranges, payment amount ranges, statuses, transaction types, and initial ranges can be selected to filter your grid. You can also use the sequence option up at the top to use a sort order to go in ascending or descending order. With this program to work correctly, the receipt number is now stored for every individual receipt added and printed inside of the system. Prior to this update, the receipt number that printed on the receipts were not tracked in the cubic system. In this new update, they are now tracked for every receipt, and that unique identifier number for that receipt number is now stored in the system. In batch and simple batch payments, we now store the version of the receipt, which is meaning the receipt status. Each time a receipt is edited, a new version of the receipt will be created. When a payment is deleted, it will store the deleted payment and have it as a status of deleted. As an example, on the screen, this was a payment that was deleted inside of the system. The payment will always be stored with the deleted status of that payment. How a payment becomes deleted inside of the batch and simple batch payments is if you have pending payments sitting inside of your simple batch and you chose to select and delete payment or payments, if we were to refrain back into the receipt history, you will now notice that that customer here with that pending receipt now has a deleted status. This payment can be viewed and detail by selecting the View button, and then the detail will then present what the receipt looked like. You will notice all the different types of the versions of that receipt with a date and timestamp and a picture of the receipt of as it was originally printed. These receipts can also be reprinted by selecting inside the grid which receipt to print and then selecting Reprint Receipt. Please note that you can change the size of your grids as you can in multiple other screens, so that way you can see more detail scrolled over on the right hand side. Filtering deleted payments only, you can use the receipt statuses at the bottom of the screen by only having one of the statuses selected. When viewing the receipt, you can use the next and previous options to go to the next selected sequence. You will also notice under the payment status that there is NSF and reversed. When a payment is either reversed or NSF'd, the receipt history transaction will be marked as reversed or NSF'd inside of this screen. Also displaying in the receipt posting screens you will notice that the customer type, property type, and a shutoff indicator have been added to the customer information area on the payment. This also includes for write-offs, deposits, NSF checks, reversals, write-off reversals, deposit reversal, NSF deposit, payment assistance receipts, payment assistance refunds, payment assistance reversals, payment assistance transfers, miscellaneous payments, and real-time cash receipts. The shutoff indicator will only be marked if the customer is marked as shutoff on the Billing Information tab inside of Customer Maintenance. Going inside of the Customer Maintenance as an example, the shutoff indicator here, when checked, will be displayed inside of the customer information on the receipt screen, labeled here. Also inside of the receipt posting screen, options have been added to the real-time receipts, the batch time receipts, and the simple batch receipts. The new options is to show the customer's balance aging and the delinquent amount. The show balance aging will display the aging amounts along with a graph. The delinquent amount will show the delinquent options and show the delinquent amount and the delinquent notice amount. Note, if any options are changed inside of this grid to change the amount displayed, this button here to recalculate the delinquent amount can be selected. These buttons work exactly as they do inside of the customer maintenance. These options are also enabled during posting of write-off screen, NSF checks, posting reversal screen, posting write-off reversals. Same for the batch receipts with those options, and in the simple batch payment posting screen. Inside of customer maintenance, when going inside of the Bill Pay History tab, when double-clicking to view the detail of the receipt history, you will now see display the receipt number for that payment. Also, next to the receipt number field, there is a View Receipt button. When selected, it will view the receipt detail. Remember what we spoke about earlier in the video is that in this grid over here, each time a receipt is edited, a new version of the receipt will be created. So in some instances, you could see multiple different types of receipts here. Also, when a payment is deleted, it'll show the status over here as a deleted status for that payment. Also, you will see inside of here is the actual copy of the receipt itself. It can be viewed inside of this screen. It can also be reprinted by selecting the reprint receipt option. There have been a couple of changes to the general ledger codes. They are as follows. Inside of the general ledgers, when selecting the print option, there is a new option to suppress blank account groups, which has been added to the general ledger codes listing. The option is defaulted to be selected. When this option is selected, account groups that aren't used in the general ledger code will not print. If an account group only has one account assigned in the group, both account lines in the group will still print. For example, if the tax for billing account group has a debit account assigned but no credit account assigned, the debit account line and credit line will still print on the report. This is to indicate that there is a problem with the setup of the account group, since if the account group is being used, both the debit and credit accounts should be used. So when previewing or printing this report, it'll help clean the report up by suppressing any accounts that are not being used inside your general ledger codes. The Validate Accounts Against Bucks option has been changed to have asset accounts that are linked to an account-based investment show as an error on the report, since those accounts should not be used to post in Cubic. We have added a new option to the expanded trial balance. That new option is a rate code range. The user can pick which either metered, unmetered, installment, or deposit type rates, along with a rate code range. This gives the ability that they can run the expanded trial balance based on just meter codes as an example, using specific rate codes only to display inside of the report. The report scheduler has also been updated for the new rate code range and options on the expanded trial balance. For users who use the Bucks interface, there is a new report option called the Deposit Number Report. This new Bucks interface deposit report has been created for users who use the Bucks interface option to interface receipts to Bucks check register deposits. This option is turned on in the system controls. There are checking account, deposit number, and interface date report options to determine the information that shows on the report. There is also the ability to send this report to Excel. This report produces a listing of the postings that were used to get the deposit amount during the interface. The report groups the deposit information by Bucks checking account and deposit number. Under each checking account and deposit number, the program lists the interface date, posting date, booking account, posting type, service sequence, rate code, amount, and interface control numbers. Please note that only interfaces that are posted after the 17.0 version of Cubic will show on this report. We have added new options for move-in work orders. So when completing a work order that is a move-in type through either the customer in customer maintenance or work orders in the work order maintenance, in this example, we will be going through the Customers to the Work Orders tab, and you will notice this customer has a move-in type work order. Double-clicking or editing the work order and changing the status from issued to completed and assigning a completed date will enable the Move-in Readings button. This new button gives the user the ability to enter in a read date and the initial reading. Once this information is entered, it will update the customer service information automatically. If the work order gets updated before the reading information is entered, the user will not have the ability to enter this information in the work order. The user will then have to manually change the service or delete and re-add the work order back in. To help accommodate this new option without the user to forget to enter in this reading information, we have added a new option inside of the system controls. So under the General, System Controls, Edit, the Work Orders tab, there is a new checkbox that the user can select to warn the user if a move-in reading is not entered when completing a move-in work order. When generating shut-off work orders, new options for generating a note for the customer have been added to the Generate Shut-off Work Orders options screen. Here you can see the new Generate Shut-off Work Order Note checkbox. So when checked, we'll enable the options to include the customer balance and the shut-off date on the note. There is also Create Note Alerts for customers, receipts, and billing options that can be checked. You will also notice that the shut-off work order note text option will also be enabled. The default here can be overwritten at the time inside of the option screen. A note type can then also be selected. These defaults are set up inside of the General, System Controls, under the Work Orders tab, and then selecting the Shut-off Automation button, and then checking the box here to generate the shut-off work order note. For the shut-off work order basis, if set to job code, the program will create one note for that customer. If the basis is set to templates, and the work order template is set to 1 for each service, the option will create a note for each service that is created. A line will be added to each one of these notes to indicate the service type, rate code, and service sequence of the work order that was added. When the 1 for each service type is selected, a line will be added that lists the service type of the work order that was created. After this information, the customer balance and shut-off date will then be included in the note. There have been a couple changes to the balance transfer posting. So under Customers Balance Transfer Posting, when processing a balance transfer, there is a new Select Destination Service button. When this button is pressed, a screen will be displayed showing other possible services that can be selected. Previously, this function was only available by double-clicking on an item in the grid. There is now the ability to transfer balances to inactive and final bill status services. To accommodate this change, the service of the destination service has been added to the grid. The program will first look for an active service to apply the balance to, If no service is found, it will default to the first service that matches the originating service. Inside of the Install Backflow Devices screen underneath the Work Orders menu option, we have added an ID change function to allow the assigned company serial number for an install backflow device to be changed. The ID change option for the install backflow devices has also been added to the customer's install backflow devices seen inside of customer maintenance. In relation to the ACH maximum option that was added in the Cubic system, underneath the multi-property maintenance screen, when synchronizing the ACH information for multi-property customers, the ACH maximum has now been added as a new function inside of here. And in conclusion to the last update to the 17.0 Cubic version, most of the reports throughout the system that have a book and account range have had the customer search option added. As an example, underneath the customer maintenance print option, printing a customer ACH list, you will notice that a search button will be enabled for the book and account range. When selected, it will go into a customer search where the user can use different sequences and help to select what customer range you need to enter in for the reports. We at FREY Company would like to thank everyone who responded to the Cubic survey and beta testing of the product. The ideas and suggestions that we receive from our users are the driving force behind the changes that are implemented into Cubic. Thank you from all of us at FREY Municipal Software.